Hey guys, welcome back for part 2. So today what we're going to be showing you guys is all the stuff that you should be checking when buying a car. And so we're going to be going all the filters, which is the oil filter, the intake or the air filter, your cabin air filter, and your oil filter. We'll go through and explain what each one of those does. And
yeah, so if you guys like content like this and you want to see more about what you should do to a car after you buy it, a used car that is, make sure to like and subscribe to see more content and for the information on what you need to do.
And we have 2 more videos coming out after this, so if you haven't seen part 1, make sure you see part 1 so when you buy a car, you know the stuff that you should be checking. And then keep on with the series so you can see all the parts that you should be doing. All of this should only cost you about $200 to $300 to get your car running at optimal levels.
The first filter you're going to want to change is going to be your air filter. This one is very, very important because if you have a dirty air filter, it can decrease the airflow, which can decrease the horsepower of your engine. And the biggest thing why you want to have an air filter in a car, especially a daily driven one, is this simple fact. If you don't have an air filter, you're going to get a ton of contaminants in your engine that can possibly cause harm. And if you think about it, if you get a little rock going through your intake and it goes and hits your intake and exhaust valves, it's going to be a pretty pricey day. So always make sure to have one that's nice and clean and doesn't have any contaminants in it. And air filters, for the most part, are always going to be located at the front of the car in a pretty easily accessible box. Unless it's mid-engine, then you bought the wrong car. All right, everybody, so one very important thing while doing an oil change is your filter. So what is it for and what do you want to go with? That's a big question. So an oil filter is to sort of filter out all the little particulates and stuff that get inside of your oil, because you have your air filter and that gets rid of the majority of the dirt and all the nastiness, but you still have little particulates of dirt and everything that go right past it, as well as all the fuel in your combustion chamber, all of that. As most of it goes through and out of the exhaust, some of it will seep past your piston rings and it'll end up into your oil. So these little guys, it helps filter out all those little carbon deposits, that seeps past, as well as little bits of dirt and all that stuff. So as far as brand, you want to go with a very well-known one. Otherwise, it might have some chintzy insides, which can cause a failure later down the road. The next thing we're going to be talking about is your fuel filter. So what does it do and why is it important to replace it? So in your gas tank, as you can imagine, over years and years, there's a little bit of corrosion inside of it, and sometimes that corrosion gets loose and floats around in your fuel. And if you think about it, if that goes all the way through your fuel system into your injectors or your carburetor, depending on what vehicle you have, it will clog it and it will cause you issues. And if it's a fuel injection system, big money as well. So this fuel filter, it catches those little particulates that can cause that havoc. So it's very important to replace these, every, say, 5 to 10 years or 100,000 miles. And the majority of cars are going to have a fuel filter that's pretty easy to access, but a lot of the newer vehicles, they're going to have one inside of the fuel tank itself. So it's going to be a little bit more of a pain to get than this little Miata, because this one, it's just right in front of the passenger side rear wheel. So it's super easy, just because it's really important to the life of your vehicle. And if they get clogged, then you won't be able to get fuel to your injectors or your carb, and the vehicle won't run properly. So we're going to go ahead and replace this guy. All right, thank you guys for watching part 2 on what to do to your new used vehicle.
And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell so you're notified anytime these videos are uploaded.
And remember, be fast, don't be last.